We're here with head coach David Dean, Week 9 press conference ahead of the Mississippi College game. We'll open up with some statements and then open up for questions.
Well, back on the road again. Traveled to Clinton, Mississippi to play a very dangerous football team, team that offensively is very scary. Not only do they have good players, have a good scheme, very well coached, but you don't see that every week. And for our defense, this is a heck of a change for us to have to adjust and play an option when you're playing a lot of spread over and over, especially when they go out to practice with us and see spread all the time. So it's going to be a heck of a challenge, number one, for our defense to control a good offense like they have and play good disciplined football, but also for us making this trip again for the second straight year to go out and play very well against a team that is defensively poses a lot of problems. They do a lot of blitzing, a little bit different front. They got good athletes that know how to rush the passer, and that's always a big key against us is how well will we protect our quarterback and be able to run the football.
Coach, coming off that homecoming win last Saturday, you guys find yourself on top of the region rankings, the first one that came out this week. Still, obviously, a lot of business to be handled on your end for the rest of the season, but that must be nice for you guys to put yourself in that position, just how you guys started the season.
Well, it is. It's an honor for us to be number one, especially in this region, which we think is probably the toughest region in the country from top to bottom. But again, we can slip down just as fast as we got there. So we can't concentrate on where we are. We got to concentrate on the moment. We got to concentrate on what's happening this week. And Mississippi College is our opponent this week. It's the most important game that we play all year long because it's the game that we play this week. And if we don't take care of business, then we're putting our fate in someone else's hands. And as long as we are winning and continue to win, we have our own destiny in our hands, and that's where we want to keep it.
Coach, how hard is it to show your defense an option offense, get a scout team ready to give us any kind of a look in 3 days practice?
Well, it's very difficult because we don't have an option quarterback in the house, and we've actually moved a scout team wide receiver to play quarterback this week just to give them a look, as far as running the option. We're not going to use a football on defense this week. We want everybody to make sure that they play their assignments. We've gone into working some cut blocks and different things like that, which is totally different than what we normally do each week. And it's going to be a very difficult task for us, number one, because we just don't have those type athletes in our program because we don't build ourselves around the option. So it's a heck of a job, heck of a challenge for our scout team to give us the good looks. But through one day of practice, really proud of the way that our guys have responded defensively and as well as our scout team offense. Gave them great looks yesterday and need 2 more days of that before we get on the bus.
Coach, real physical game this past week. A lot of people banged up. How's your team heading into this game?
Well, like you said, we're banged up. This is 8 straight weeks that we've played a college football game. This will be the 9th straight week that we've played. We haven't had a week off. So it begins to take its toll. We've got a couple of guys we don't know if they're going to be able to play. They're struggling through some injuries right now. We've got some other guys that are banged up that I think are going to be able to play but are not going to be 100%. But that's this time of year, and that's Division II football. You don't have a lot of depth. We can't cry about it because Mississippi College, I'm sure, is in the same boat. They've got guys that are banged up that are injured that they're not going to be able to play, and everybody else in the country is the same way. So you just if you lose a guy and he doesn't be able to play, that backup guy who's worked all year long and worked like he was going to be a starter, now's his opportunity, and he's got to step up and he's got to fill some big shoes that a starter may not be able to play.
Speaking of that game last Saturday, you were going on about how your guys just refused to lose that football game. What were some other things that you took away about that particular game, just going back and looking at the film?
Well, from a negative standpoint, we didn't tackle very well. And we're a better tackling football team than what we showed in the second half. And that was something that we addressed with our guys on Sunday. And again, against a team like Mississippi College, if you don't tackle well as they run the football, they can make you look silly. Also, from a coverage standpoint, on our special teams, we're in positions to make plays, but we're not finishing off those tackles, and we're giving some extra yards and some special team runs. And we got to do better at that. We've got to tackle better in our special teams. And then from an offensive standpoint, I don't think that we finished blocks like we have. Going back and look on it, I'm proud of our team and the way that they played, but I don't think it was the best game that we played. And the frustrating part for me was we told our guys all week, you're going to get West Alabama's best because their backs are against the wall. They're playing for playoffs. And we didn't go out and we didn't give them our best. And probably as a whole was probably our worst game of the year, quite honestly. We still played well, but it was our worst game of the year because we played well in spurts. The positive thing was we played well when we had to. We made plays when we had to, especially offensively, putting together that drive at the end of the game. That was a huge drive. So we just got to be more consistent than we were last week. And again, I'll credit a lot of that was a little bit of a hangover coming from West Florida. That was a big win for us. It put us in position where we wanted to be. And, we were looking at them on film, West Alabama on film, and they're not playing a lot of guys that played on Saturday because they had a lot of injuries like we are now, and they got them back for our game. So, from that standpoint, I don't know if it's not that we didn't take them serious. It's we had a little bit of a hangover going into that game, and we just didn't give them our best, knowing that we were going to get their best.
You touched on the particular option offense with Mississippi College. What particular aspects of that offense is making them run it so effectively this season?
Well, their quarterback's amazing. He's got great speed. He makes great decisions. He's very hard to tackle, elusive. And if he breaks the line and gets into the secondary, there's a lot of times it's a foot race. And against a lot of people on film, he's winning those foot races. So we've got to contain him. We cannot let him get loose. And then, the big thing for us is play assignment football because they're gonna triple option us some, and we can't do somebody else's job. We have to make sure that we're disciplined enough to do that person's job and not try to do my job and someone else's job. But Tommy Laurendine is a good friend of mine. He's their offensive coordinator. He's done a tremendous job with their offense and what they have done from last year to now. It was just incredible how good they really are and how well coached they are. But if you go back and look at it, that quarterback is making everything go because he is so good.
Coach, you mentioned Hawthorne. He's averaging like 20 yards per completion. Are those runs after the catches, or do they try to dial you up deep every now and then?
Well, they'll dial you up deep. They do have good receivers out there that are breaking some tackles, but it's like when you look at Georgia Tech. They're going to have completions, but they're going to be big completions because they're going to sucker you up and they're going to slip by you and throw one deep and make a big play. So they are going to throw some screens and throw some underneath stuff, and people are going to make tackles, but then all of a sudden they'll pop you for that 40 or 50-yard play, especially when they get down to about the 30-yard line. When you start sneaking up in there and start playing it a little tougher, when you're getting close to that red zone, that's when they slip by and they throw that ball deep to them.
What sticks out for you with Mississippi College's defense?
Well, they're a big blitzing team. I was a little surprised when I flipped the film on and watched them. They blitz a little bit more than I had expected them to. They're more of a 3-3 stack team, which you don't see a whole bunch in our league. You see it a little bit, but they're a 3-3 stack, but they move guys around. You look and they've got a Mike linebacker that is at the top in the middle of the 3-3 stack, and then the next time you see him, he's out wide. And so they move guys around, so you can't get a beat on where guys are. And they do a great job of bringing blitzes. They always got 7 guys around the box, and you don't know which 7 are going to rush. So for us being, a balanced passing team, we've got to be sharp on where are all these blitzes coming from. So our running backs, they've got to be very sharp. Our line's got to do very good on the twists and the slants that they do. But also, when we work to our stack linebackers, We've got to be on top of our game and not let these guys fool us with stunts and different twists that they do up front. All right. Thank you.